The next morning I was sitting on my backyard deck, sipping my coffee, reading my morning paper and trying to get up the ambition to tackle mowing the grass. When I bought this house it came with a larger than normal property line and most of my property was the backyard. I had a riding lawnmower, but at the time it was in the shop for some driveline issues. So I was relegated to my old walk-behind mower. It was self-propelled so I didn't have to push it, but I did have to walk along behind it and it would take considerably longer to cut the grass than with my riding mower. As I sat there I saw the neighbor's blue Chevy Malibu leave and head off down the street. It made me think of Stacy and the events of the previous day. I was still puzzled at what could have possibly prompted her to come on to me like she did. I had just come over at her request because she said she needed some help moving some boxes and her husband wasn't around. I was certain it must have something to do with Tim, but what could it be? They seemed to be happy enough together. They were both young and hadn't been married long, and purchasing a new home is not something that couples do if they are having marital problems. I just wished I knew what Stacy had meant by her, but Tim, statement. Well, she told me she would explain things Monday morning so I would just have to wait. As I sat there finishing the last of my coffee and not looking forward to my task ahead, I heard the side gate open. My side gate squeaks a bit when it's opened. I keep meaning to oil it but then I kind of like the advance warning the squeaky gate gives me so I put it off. Now my gate told me someone was in my yard. I'm in the backyard. I called out figuring it was either a utility man or some salesman or something. I was pleasantly surprised when I heard a woman's voice, Alan, just as Stacy peered around the corner. She was wearing one of those maternity-style tops with the squared-off neckline. As she walked towards me and managed to get out a, "Hi Stacy." When she came up onto the deck, she flashed me a smile and gave me a quick kiss on my cheek as she sat down on the chair next to me. "Good morning Alan," she chirped. "Tim's gone to the store to get some cleaning supplies and other things so I'm probably home alone for at least the next hour or so, and it's such a nice day out today, I thought I'd pop over and pay you a surprise visit." "This is a nice surprise. I really didn't expect to get a chance to see you and talk with you until tomorrow." "Yeah, I was just outside enjoying the warm weather when I saw you sitting here, so I figured I'd come chat for a bit." "You wouldn't have any of that coffee left, would you? Our coffee maker is still amongst the 1,000 more boxes we have to unpack. How can two people have so much stuff?" "Sure, let me go get you a cup." I went to the kitchen to get her coffee. I wasn't sure just why she told me about Tim being gone but I figured it was her way of telling me we had some time to talk. And I certainly didn't mind. Not only was she good company and a pleasure to be around, it was also a great way to avoid what I should be doing. I sat down next to her. She looked at me and smiled. "Thank you. All right, I need to say something first. I'm sorry and I apologize if I led you to do anything yesterday afternoon that you hadn't intended. I feel bad, we only just met a couple days ago." "You didn't do anything wrong, Alan. I knew exactly what I was doing and the effect it might have. Everything that happened yesterday was just what I wanted to happen," she said with a mischievous smile. "Tim and I love each other deeply and our marriage is wonderful. It's just that he has some strange ideas." "Oh. Like what?" She looked to be getting a bit red in the face and seemed to be fidgeting a bit. "Stacy, if you don't want to talk about this or it's too embarrassing, you don't really have to. It's not something I really need to know." "No, I'm okay, and I really do need to tell you this. You see, when I entered my 4th month Tim almost not close to me." "What? Tell me about it." "For the past few weeks, I've had to take care of. Then I met you the other day when we moved in, and I decided to try to do something to me. You seemed nice right from the beginning, you were really sweet to help us unload the car and everything, and, well, I thought I'd give it a shot. I mean, I really didn't have anything to lose, you know." I leaned forward and kissed her forehead. "So you see, Alan, that's what yesterday was all about," she laughed. "You really didn't seem to mind all that much, you've still got some pleasant memories." "Point taken," I said. "Anyway, thanks for the cum refill, Alan. She leaned forward. We kissed. I broke our kiss. I offered her my hand to help her up. Come with me. Stacy hesitated a moment, but when saw my hand she took it. Once she felt me pulling on her to her feet, she knew what I was doing and went willingly with me. I took her inside my home. We don't need the whole neighborhood witnessing what we're doing. This is a neighborhood watch community, but sometimes what they watch is up for debate. Thank you, Alan. That's all the conversation I wanted at that moment. First, let me repeat my prior statement. You are absolutely. Secondly, and don't take this wrong, Tim's a idiot. I thought I saw her blush a bit and she seemed to be a bit shy as she thanked me for the compliment. Wait a minute, Alan, I need to tell you something. I wasn't entirely upfront with you about my reasons for everything that happened that day. What do you mean, Stacy? Truth is, Tim doesn't find me attractive anymore. She hung her head in shame after she confessed to me. What? I can't believe that. Stacy, you are so beautiful. What's wrong with him? Alan, when we met he was proud to have me beside him. He loved it when other guys would comment on how pretty I was and how they wished they were him. But once I became pregnant and started to show, he became less and less attentive. But now, how could any man call the woman standing in front of me unattractive? The thought was so totally ridiculous that I almost couldn't process it. What's wrong with him, Stacy? I mean, can't he see what he has right in front of him? Well, some of his friends told me that he was pretty vain and narcissistic. I knew he was proud to show me off and liked, and other guys got jealous of him over me. I did my best to always look beautiful for him. But then this happened, she said. Well, this, I said using her words, only makes you more beautiful in my estimation. I mean, I'm sure you were a knockout before, but now, your husband needs a new pair of glasses if he can't see the beauty he has with you. Oh, Alan, thank you. Thank you. I really needed to hear that. I have been so afraid that I wasn't pretty anymore. I was afraid that Tim wouldn't find me pretty and that he would get tired of me and leave me. I'd be a single mother in a strange place with no job and no friends or family. Well, I can promise you a couple things. First off, you are very pretty, so don't even worry about that. Secondly, you aren't in a strange place with no friends, you have one at least. Stacy stood there silent for a couple moments. She just looked at me as if she was trying to process what I had said. Then she took a step forward and took my hand. Thank you, Alan, she smiled contentedly. You're welcome. It was my pleasure. I could have sat and held her, but I thought about who I was with and where we were at. Glancing at my wall clock, I saw about 45 minutes had expired and told Stacy we better wrap it up. I guess so, she sounded reluctant, then perked up. Thank you for being so wonderful and so understanding, Alan, she said, kissing me again. Still coming by tomorrow? Of course. You'd better be ready, mister. It's a date then. She blew me a kiss as she went back next door to wait for Tim. I sat at my kitchen's breakfast bar trying to concentrate on reading the paper and drink my coffee while waiting for Stacy. I say trying to concentrate because I wasn't having much luck with it. My thoughts kept drifting back to yesterday. It was about 45 minutes later when I heard Tim's car leave, and I expected Stacy at any moment. I had the sliding glass door next to the kitchen open to the backyard so it would let in some fresh air, and in that quiet neighborhood, sound carries pretty well. My morning coffee had started affecting me, and I figured I'd better take to the bathroom before she arrived. I came back to the kitchen to wait for her. I noticed the sliding glass door had been shut and there was a pair of pink high heels set right next to the door. I smiled, having a pretty good idea of what I was going to find. Stacy? Stacy? Where are you? I called out as I started looking through the house. Back here, stud, in the room. I went into the room where I heard the voice come from and noticed the door opened just a crack. Hi baby, it looks like you found my gift. Do you like it? I could see a grin on her face as I got closer. When I was waiting for Tim to leave, I started thinking about your. I hope you don't mind. I bent down to kiss her sweet lips since we hadn't kissed yet that morning. We kissed for a couple moments. Can you guess what happens next? Epilogue. Stacy and I continued to see each other for the next couple months. On the weekends we were all good friends, but during the week Stacy and I were lovers. Then one day Stacy came over to my house crying that Tim had been cheating on her with the cute little office assistant at school. He left her a month before the baby was due. I couldn't leave her alone with no way to support herself, so I asked her to come live with me. We had grown quite close over the short time we had known each other, and so she accepted. Stacy and Tim got divorced, and she got a decent settlement. The baby came and we raised it together. Eventually, Stacy and I got married, and even though I was several years older than her, we were happy. Jack, the baby, knew only me as his father, and when we got married, I adopted him as my son.